Yeah, I'm looking at a story that's actually in the New Zealand press. Not, I know it was in the United States press and Western media, but it's about Secretary of Treasury Jack Lew warning about possible debt default in the United States by the end of February. Now, this is in the New Zealand press. It's a short article, but I am. I've always had this thing in my head. Basically, anytime you want a default or you want a war or whatever, or you want some kind of problem to happen, it's whenever the powers that be want it to happen. And I do, I am at least highly suspicious that they use astrological dates, and they like to coincide things with astrology. And there's a lot of people on the internet try to guess, when they're going to do something. Like 11/11/11 was one, right? All the ones and all this type of stuff. But I'm suspecting something here, because I'm not suspecting like a total default, but some type of situation where either it gets right to midnight or it goes into default very briefly for maybe a day or two, and they act, and maybe it's officially that the government defaulted, and they extend and they raise the debt ceiling again. That's what I'm suspecting. Now, if you're an insider, if you knew there was something like this going to come up, it would kill the markets. So you would pull out, or you would short the markets too, wouldn't you? This is all hypothetical conjecture, but when it's coming from, let me put it this way: when it's coming from me, I think I'm more on the money with this garbage than a lot of other people are, because some people are always pushing doom and gloom and conspiracies left and right, and this I'm more suspicious of, because some of the lunar dates are, they're also coincide with this. Now, I personally don't really believe in astrology, but I know that there's powerful people that do, and the movers and shakers, and it will try to push events around astrological dates, because it's their belief that, this is what I think anyway, that it gives it more strength. It gives it more strength to be carried out as they planned. It sounds like bullshit nonsense maybe, but that's why I think astrology does play importance, because there's people that are very powerful that believe in it. That really is what makes it more important. Now, something else coming up. Now, first off, let me just finish up with this first. U.S. Secretary of Treasury Jack Lew is saying that he will be running out of maneuvering room by the end of February, where they'll have to have Congress act to raise the debt ceiling. Now, it looks like there's some congressmen that are like against that, dead set against that, and despite what the major media says, it's kind of like up in the air. But I also suspect that there's people in the know that are going to allow this to happen. In other words, the end game is like, it's inevitable that the United States is going to default. Now, I don't think this is going to be the cataclysmic default, but there might be something where it defaults for a day, 24 hours, or something like that, and it causes a problem. And, there's something else coinciding with this. It's also this change in policy with Israel and Iran. Now, I think, when they're saying a change of policy with Israel, because they did change the policy with Iran, which basically changes the policy with Israel. Israel leaders right now, and I know people are going to say, what? First off, my name isn't Kerry. My name isn't freaking Cuomo or Biden. I will be critical. Right now, I freaking see it that Israel and Jews are getting blamed for everything in the world, and it's a bunch of BS. Okay? I'm just going to state that, because it makes me freaking think there's some other crap going on here that's using them as scapegoats. But that's my opinion, all right? But Kerry right now has been criticized by some top rabbis as being an enemy of God, because he's basically telling, Jews to get out of this area, that they shouldn't be belonging to their land, and all this type of stuff. Now, Kerry, I got no respect for it all. This guy will flip-flop in 2 seconds flat. I mean, whichever way the wind blows best for his political career, this guy will go 100% on the side of Israel if it's good for Kerry, and will go 100% on the side of somebody else or against Israel if it's good for Kerry. I put Biden in that category. I put, Mario Cuomo in that freaking cat. I put them all, these guys like that, I put them all in that category, man. Now, this policy change with Iran, where they're going to do this, back off on the sanctions, or they're going to try to, it almost fits in with trying to antagonize Israel to do a strike on Iran. At the same time, there's going to be all these problems where the government's not going to meet its debt obligations, and maybe they're going to have to cut back billions on food stamps and social programs, and there's going to be all this civil unrest. Well, what do? You go to war. But you don't want to start the war. You want to have somebody else start it for you so you can say, it's not our fault, right? So, you know what I'm saying? It looks like Israel's getting set up in short. And, you think they're all powerful. Some people think, some people think that. I don't think so. But you see how that would play? Say Israel starts the war because, Iran's getting nuclear weapons or whatever now, and I know they will, for crying out loud. I mean, people are arguing me with that garbage left and right, but if they get 1, they're going to get 10. If they get 10, they're going to get 100. If they get 100, they're going to get 500. That's just how it is. And something's going to happen anyway. So, I got my opinion on that. But just forego that political stuff there, because I know there's very heated debate about that. But just figure this. Doesn't it appear that this policy change is kind of coordinated with the same time that possibly there might be some kind of mini debt default and a crisis at home, which would, and this policy change is going to antagonize Israel to actually make the first move, which then the United States would have to back Israel, and then there's a war which deflects all attention from any kind of domestic problems and budgetary problems that are going on at home. Doesn't that seem to fall into place? That's what I think. Anyway, that's what I think is coming up. Now, that's why it'll be very good for gold and silver and oil, as far as price going up, And I am not sure about this, but this is what I am seeing, how the pieces are coming together. Now, I don't think I fall in the category of a lot of these clowns out there that just predict wild shit left and right. There's always a conspiracy someplace or another, but, reality is, in history, there always is plans behind the scenes, and, most events just don't happen haphazardly. There's other games going on. And actually, if I was the guy on the top, I already know how I would play this whole game out, with China and Iran and everything else, but I don't want to say what my plan is, because probably piss a lot of people off, but it would work. But, I see something coming up, and, it's going to coincide with all the blood moons and the lunar cycles and all this other garbage, which fits in right with the, the real power the movers and shakers like. They like the astrology garbage left and right, so, I think it's bull. You know what? I know it's not bullshit, because there's some people that believe it that are powerful enough that don't think it's bullshit. That's why events happen during these times, I think. That's what I think's going on. I don't think they just happen. There's some people that want them to happen at these times. But if you use a little common sense about this, Obama doesn't have any pull, really. Where the hell, and this Valerie Jarrett, that basically is the de facto president, she doesn't really have any pull either. So, what's the deal? Why is the big policy change going on with Iran? Get the hell out of here. Something freaking fishy here, big time. And they know it's going to antagonize Israel. So Israel will do a first strike. It's It's all coming out about the same time. We may have problems with the government funding and all the government, basically, all the programs out there, where people might be coming up short on some things that they need, which will be civil unrest at home. So what do? You have a war. But who's going to start the war? U.S. government? No. It'll be Israel, right? See the game they're playing? And actually, that's the real elite playing that game. Which tells you they ain't the Jews. That's my opinion on this, anyway. That's my opinion, okay? That's my opinion. That's what I'm thinking's going on. I might be wrong about this shit, though, because, you know, it's like, but I'm not playing drama, fear garbage here. I'm very pragmatic about it, and I don't know. When I actually think the way I think if I was in a planning room with the devils, this is how it would be planned. I almost sense what's going on. I think so. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm not 100% sure of it, but I think that's how it's going to play out. So we may see war happen at the same time as, you know, mini debt default and problems with funding in the government. And of course, Alex Jones would be smiling all the way to the bank about that because, oh, this is it, folks, the FEMA camps. Just don't be freaking out about that kind of shit. Because that is so counterproductive and, you know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. If you work together, you're going to defeat the elite. But, you know, working together, you know, is actually perseverance. It's boring. You got to do shit on your own. You got to keep your nose to the grindstone. You know, that kind of crap. It's not like, you know, drama freak shit left and right. So, you know, just kind of beware of this, because I don't want to pump up fear here, but I kind of sense something coming up. You know, it fits. All the pieces seem to fit. You know? It's just my head thinking this way. And usually that's when I'm right. Anyway, we'll find out.